Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Chair to Face Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Chrissy and Chris. Um, we are 14 days away from WrestleMania, 2 whole weeks, and it is heating up.
On fire,
So,
man. Two very, very short weeks, 14 days. Ah, we got a lot to get into, man. We got a lot to unpack.
we got our recap as we normally do, and we're going to try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point because we have an exciting segment of Rushmore. And I think
Oh,
everybody's going to enjoy this one. Understand that it took me maybe 2 hours to get it done because it was very hard to choose.
ooh.
So
I'm excited now because I don't even know what it is.
I'm not
Sweet.
telling anybody. So I hope that everybody likes, we comment, we subscribe, and share. That is the most important part. I need everybody to share these episodes. If you have not watched episode 1 or 2, you suck and you need to go back and watch them. I mean that with my whole heart. I love you though, but I need you to go back and watch episodes 1 and 2, and then you can watch episode 3. So let's get into it. Friday Night SmackDown, we start off with CM Punk in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. And we finally found out that favor last night. Chris, what was that favor?
Well, you know, Chicago, Chicago plus CM Punk equals chaos, right? How many times have we seen that? So you kind of knew something was going to happen last night just because of where they were and who was involved. So you got to go watch it to fully understand, to fully encapsulate what's happening. But the favor that we've been hearing about for a month or more is that at WrestleMania, Paul Heyman, who is Roman Reigns's buddy, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Wiseman, whatever you want to refer to him as, but he's also CM Punk's best friend. The favor is that Heyman is in Punk's corner at WrestleMania and not Roman. And a brilliant segment last night between those three. I said it on the last episode that those three are going to be magic. And the third, obviously, that I'm referring to is Seth Rollins. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I mean, and you can see it starting last night. It is, this to me has the best build behind it. This match is the one that WWE creative, the superstars, whoever you want to credit for it. This one to me has the best build. The Cena Cody one is okay. Everything else is all right. This one is like top of the rack.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're up to here now with this storyline, and I've been asked this question, what does this mean for Roman Reigns? Well, what it means for the head of the table and the only tribal chief is he is on his own. Paul Heyman is not his guy at WrestleMania. He is CM Punk's guy. 100%. Whatever CM Punk wants and he snaps his little punky fingers, he's getting. He's getting that help, he's getting that advisement, and Roman is on his own. I think it's just great storytelling, and we are finally at this point with this storyline where it's all downhill hill from here for the next 2 weeks. I'm living for it. It's gonna be great. These guys make gold out of anything.
100%. So I thought it was very interesting. You could tell that all three guys are playing the role that was designed for them. It feels like CM Punk is the one with control. It feels like to me that CM Punk, and it's felt like this for a couple of weeks, that CM Punk knows what he wants. He's gotten what he wants. He's got a card in his hand that he hasn't dealt, which he dealt last night. Feels like CM Punk's in control. It was evident in the segment last night. See, Roman Reigns backs Paul Heyman into the corner. Punk attacks Roman, gives him the GTS. Segment ends with Punk in the ring. Heyman looking on from the sideline, like, right? Roman feels like he's losing control. Feels like he's losing control of Heyman. It feels like he's losing control of the situation. And like you said, he's quote unquote on his own now. Meanwhile, the third piece in all of this, the piece that I think is the X factor in this whole situation, and I'm about to explain why. Seth Rollins is over here watching these three guys, Heyman, Roman, and Punk, go into it. He's laughing his ass off. He's laughing and he's like, dude, this is great. This is comedy for me because Rollins doesn't have a dog in the fight. He hates Punk, he hates Roman, and they both hate him. So now Seth's over here going, okay, you two duke it out. I'll stand here and watch. I don't care. Here's where I think, where I'm left with a question. And it might be answered on Raw. It might be answered on SmackDown. We've got 2 weeks. Heyman was non-committal. Even in his answer to Roman, when he said, I cannot do that, my tribal chief, he didn't say no to Punk, but he also didn't commit to Punk either. Like, he didn't full out say, sorry, Roman, I'm in Punk's corner.
Right.
So, is Heyman in Punk's corner? Feels like he is. Feels like we had a turn. But Heyman never really committed wholeheartedly, and he's put himself in that situation. Now, I would tell the audience at home to keep in mind that Heyman did that to help Roman Reigns. Heyman went and made a phone call. You remember tribal combat in the War Games thing with Solo and Roman. Roman needed another guy. Heyman made the phone call to Punk. Punk stepped in and helped Roman. So it was for Roman's benefit, but Heyman negotiated, quote unquote, with the devil. He made a deal with the devil. So now Heyman has to decide. Do I go with my best friend and a guy that I've advocated for and that I helped get to the top? Or do I take the guy that has helped me, and Roman was right about this, has helped me stay relevant? Like Roman has helped Paul just as much as Paul helped Roman. Or, here's my spoiler. What if it's neither of them? What if Paul Heyman does the unthinkable at WrestleMania and says, you know what? I'm not going to decide between Punk and Roman. I'm going to side with Rollins.
Oh shit. That that would be a what a twist moment. I would not expect that out of Paul Heyman to go with Seth
If
freaking Rollins.
anybody is going to do it, it's going to be Paul Heyman. I promise you. How many times over the years have we as wrestling fans said, oh, Brock Lesnar will never be back? Brock's done. And Paul Heyman always said, you want to bet? Watch me bring him back. And he would. And we would be shocked. And I'm sitting here going, dude, it's Heyman. Like, Heyman lives for unpredictability. He lives for never showing his full hand. That's what ECW was. Every match was hardcore. Every match was you never knew what was going to happen. That's how Heyman was as a manager and is as a manager. You never know Paul Heyman's full thoughts. A, a good magician never tells anybody his tricks. That's what Heyman is. He's a master manipulator. At heart, that's what he is. Do, everybody is so focused on, and that's just a what if, okay? But everybody is so focused on Roman and Punk. Let's remember that Seth Rollins broke up the Shield. Let's remember that Seth Rollins has personal animosity towards CM Punk. I mean, don't count that guy out. Like, he is Seth Rollins. So I'm sure we're going to find something out next week, but one of the best segments of the entire year, in my opinion, the best segment on the road to WrestleMania, far and away. Unbelievable segment. I cannot wait to see the match.
It has definitely set up that momentum leading into WrestleMania. And just like you said, CM Punk, if we remember, which if you're a wrestling fan, you remember the Shield. It was Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins, just to kind of give you a little history lesson, Seth Rollins turned on the Shield by stabbing his friend in the back, which stabbing his friend in the back in the wrestling business, he took the chair and slammed it into Roman Reigns' back, and that
Correct.
broke up the Shield.
Yeah, Triple H standing on the stage saying, "There's always a plan B."
Yep. And then the
Boom!
plan
I'll
B
never forget it.
was let me hit my friend with this chair right quick.
Yeah,
And then, of course, the animosity between him and CM Punk, which we did touch on. I honestly think in great detail last week, which, well, the past couple days ago. If you did not watch that episode, go back and watch it. We explained their story, not only in the ring, but outside of the ring, which everything is a story. My grandfather used to call wrestling another soap opera.
100%.
Other people compare it to an anime episode. You have two
Mm-hmm.
guys battling it out in the ring by talking smack, and then they beat each other up, and then they go.
Sure.
Everything has a story, and it leads into outside ring animosity. 9 out of 10. Sometimes not, sometimes yes, but some wrestlers will use that outside personal life into that other person to build it. Um, Definitely recommend y'all go back and watch the last episode just to kind of go over the CM Punk and Seth thing. I'm not counting Punk out. I'm not counting Rollins out, and I'm not counting Seth out, but I could see Seth Rollins pulling some Seth Rollins.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, like, it would be the oh, look. I said it. I said it a few days ago on the last episode. WrestleMania, for most people, is the time where stories end and chapters close. But for others, it's where stuff begins. I've seen some stuff happen in 30 years of watching this. It would not shock me. It would surprise me, but it would not shock me to see Heyman say, you know what? I can't decide between the two. I screwed up. I know I did, but I have a way out. My way out is that third guy. It would not shock me to see that happen.
Well, definitely stay tuned for more with this episode, and especially with this particular storyline. And speaking of animosity and storylines heating up, can we talk about that segment between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair? So last night I did not watch SmackDown, but I kind of kept up with it and what was going on. Shout out to Wheezy Blonde. She is another wrestling podcaster. Love
Love her.
her. If you don't listen to her, you're living under a rock and you
Yeah,
need
she's
to go
great.
listen to her. Um, so heard a little bit of that. I wasn't honestly too impressed with the segment. it seemed very getting highly into the emotion and not knowing what to say and getting tripped up. And I could see that in Tiffany. She was getting a little tripped up. And then she dropped the ultimate oh shit bomb. So, as many of you know, Charlotte has been out for quite some time with a serious injury, and she just came back at Royal Rumble, won the
Real,
Rumble.
true, serious injury,
Yeah,
like career
career
ending.
ending. Exactly. And everybody knows her because she is Ric Flair's daughter. So she's a completely separate human being, but she has that reputation of being Ric Flair, the Nature Boy's child. And in her personal life, which she kind of touched on, I don't know if this was a good thing for her to do or not, but she went on a talk show recently talking about her injury, talking about her time out. She went and she had a divorce happen in between that time, which is completely detrimental to anybody. You go through divorce, it is what it is, but it hurts, you know? And Tiffany used that against Charlotte in the middle of this segment and said you'll be just like you are outside of WWE alone. And what's that record? 0-3. And then of course Charlotte dropped it. Well, that's why Kaiser's in my DMs. That was my oh shit moment. I was like, oh, now this segment's going a completely different way. This is what's happening now. So, I don't know how I'm feeling about this rivalry. Again, I am a Charlotte Flair fan. She is a phenomenal athlete. And of course, Tiffany she is coming into her own. I talked about that the last episode. I love what she's doing. I don't know. I don't know how I feel now.
The segment, and you described it perfectly, as exactly what happened to a T. Um, the segment felt very real, very personal, whether it was written to be or whether that happened ad lib in the ring, I don't know. What I do know is the overall segment was awful. Um, it is clear to me that, and I'm not. Please understand, I'm not dogging her. Okay, Tiffany needs work. Tiffany needs work on the microphone. She needs work in going head to head with the biggest names in the industry. Okay, Tiffany Stratton. I like her. Phenomenal athlete. She has great matches. No complaints there. But you don't just make money off of your athleticism. As you mentioned 3 minutes ago, you make money off of the storytelling. You make money off of this. This here is what separates the legends from the good. It's what separated Hall of Famers from great wrestlers. Okay. She needs work. She stumbled. She did a couple of times. Okay. And Charlotte took advantage of it. Charlotte did what you would expect her to do with the yeah, Tiffany, that whole thing. She did what I would expect her to do. Charlotte's winning at WrestleMania. That segment proved it to me, and it proved why Charlotte needs to have that belt. I think Tiffany is a future champion. I think Tiffany has a lot of room for growth, a lot of potential, a ton of it. It's a little early for her to be champion, in my opinion. She kind of was propelled by Nia when she was with Nia Jax and Nia was the champion and Tiffany had the briefcase and you were just waiting for her to cash it in on Nia and it would turn her face and all the fine. But it to me, it's not. Charlotte outshines Tiffany. It just they don't work well together on the microphone. In the ring, I'm sure they're gonna have a great match. Okay, I'm positive of it. But again, where the real money is made, where the build is, because you can have a great match if nobody knows about it, nobody's gonna come to see it. Okay, that's the old rule. You got to build. You got to be able to work the microphone. You got to be able to go back and forth between. It's what makes the Cody Cena thing interesting. It's what always made Austin and Rock interesting. It's what always made Shawn and Triple H when they were feuding. That's where the money was made. This is very. It was bad. It was bad. Now, I think Tiffany saved the promo to her credit. I think she saved the promo by getting personal with Charlotte because that kind of allowed Charlotte to think of a comeback, which is when she hit with the Kaiser DM thing. The ending of the promo saved its face.
Yeah.
I thought I thought Tiffany was pretty subpar. Um, Charlotte is Charlotte is Charlotte. Like I just she's different. She's yeah. You can clown her all you want for being Ric Flair's daughter, but that's why she's that good. Like
But
she doesn't stumble in promos. She has great matches. She wins a bunch of titles. She draws a lot of money. She like that's what she does. And I talked about the build to this match in the last episode. Another reference to last episode. Go watch it. I'm not finding the build is very good between the two of them because again, I don't think they jive on the microphone. I think one is far superior to the other. And when that's the case, it things like this can happen. So I thought it was very personal, very a little more personal than I thought it was going to be. But ultimately, my takeaway is that Charlotte needs that belt.
oh yeah.
The WWE needs to put the belt on Charlotte because Tiffany needs work. That's my opinion.
And look, we all have our opinions, and let me just say this. I'm gonna put this out there, and if wrestling fans get a little offended, that is perfectly okay, because that's what this podcast is for us to have a conversation. Despite what you may feel about Charlotte Flair, you cannot deny Charlotte Flair's ability. You
Oh hell
can't.
no!
She makes gold with whatever she touches. Just because she's Ric Flair's daughter don't mean jack. That
She
girl
makes
has,
mountains out of molehills.
right, that girl has busted her ass to get to where she is in this business. And if anybody knows the story of how Charlotte got into the WWE, you'll look at her 10 times differently. She
Yep.
wasn't originally going to do this as her
Nope.
career. She did this in honor of her brother Reed.
That's true. That's 100,000%
So just
factual
because,
information.
oh, Charlotte's always got the belt, Charlotte's always
Yeah.
this, Charlotte's that. It's because Charlotte's damn good at what she does,
Why
and
did
that's why
why
she
did
has the
why
belt.
did Triple H always have the belt?
Because he was damn good at what he did.
Like why does hello? I mean, this guy's a part timer, and he's fighting in the main event at WrestleMania. Why do you think that is? Well, because they're freaking good. Like, what do you want?
And Tiffany's good. Tiffany is good, but just like you said, she's still new to this
He's
business
a
and
work
she's
in
still
progress.
learning.
Yeah,
The mic
there's nothing
skills,
wrong with that,
the mic skills do not come automatically to everybody. If I
dude.
was in that situation, let's say I was a wrestler and I had a mic in my hand, if I'm talking to you and I'm trying to come at you in a promo and I got thousands of people watching me, I'm gonna trip up too.
Well, Christina, the perfect example's Roman Reigns. Like, you remember Roman Reigns and John Cena?
Yeah.
And John Cena's leaning up against the ropes, and he says, "Go ahead, Roman. It's a promo. You're the big dog. You're gonna have to do it sooner or later. You can do it, Roman. And Roman tells him, shut up, John. Like, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. And look at what Roman has turned into. Like, he had to develop that. I'm not saying Tiffany's bad, but she needs work. And
She
I mean, against Charlotte, I just she's just
is
outmatched.
going against Charlotte
Yeah,
Flair,
she's
a
outmatched.
seasoned vet in this company, and she is a 25-year-old woman
Yeah,
coming into it. She's gonna grow and she's gonna get better on that mic, and I can't wait for it.
100%. I mean, Charlotte Flair was winning world titles when Tiffany Stratton was in high school. Like, I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah.
10 years ago, Charlotte Flair was world champion. I mean, that's what it is. Like, you know, and so it's just you're just kind of outmatched. I mean, that's really all it is. It's I like Tiffany, but last night was pretty evident of who really needs to be the champion.
And it's gonna be Charlotte Flair.
Agreed.
No matter how much people are gonna whine and cry about it, it's gonna be Charlotte.
Doesn't bother me. I love Charlotte Flair. Unapologetically. Always have.
Me too. And if you go to wrestling events, you know how people are about the woo. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
does it before you even get into the doors and you
Yep.
get to the concessions and you get your little t-shirts. Everybody goes, woo,
Yeah. Well,
woo. They all
the
got
whole thing
woos.
about people trying to make fun of her for being Ric Flair's daughter, dude. If I'm Charlotte, yeah, Rick's got some personal with his 4 or 5 marriages, whatever the
Yeah,
hell it is.
whatever.
Okay, but if you're trying to insult me for being the daughter of arguably the greatest wrestler to ever live, dude, keep insulting me.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Like, I mean, shit, you're insulting somebody for being good at their job. Thanks. Keep
Thank
it
you.
coming.
Thank you for insulting me for being awesome.
Right.
Lord have mercy. I'm gonna get off of that soapbox because I could stay on that soapbox all day. Um, and another thing that happened in wrestling, my God, Kevin Owens.
Hmm.
So, for many of you who probably didn't watch wrestling last night, like myself, and you kept up with it, is a shock factor, which I mean isn't new. The guy's been wrestling for umpteen years, and he's been wrestling with a neck injury apparently for months on end, which I'm not surprised. The man is a workhorse, and now he is going to be out indefinitely with a neck injury, and that means that Randy Orton has nobody to wrestle. Maybe it'll be Nick Atlas. He did take his boss out last night out
Yeah,
of anger.
that
Man,
that was very unexpected and very it was a little uncomfortable. I um I watched it last night and then about an hour and a half before we got on the air, I went and rewatched it. And I want to first lead in with that I was talking about unwritten rules. There's an unwritten rule in wrestling. You don't joke around with neck injuries. Neck injuries have shortened careers of some of the greatest names ever. Okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin was in a match with the great Owen Hart in 1996. And Owen Hart gave him a pile driver and it went wrong. And Austin was out for over a year, was told he'd never wrestle again. Edge, Kurt Angle, like, I mean, we could go on and on and on with Randy Orton. Like, we could go on and on with the neck injuries. You don't joke about them. You don't mess around with them. They're very serious. That's like an unwritten moral code in wrestling. It was very matter of fact. The segment from Kevin. It wasn't a whole lot of poor pitiful me. It was just very matter of fact. This is what I'm going through. This is what I found out. He thanked the WWE. He said what he had to say. He talked about how it's gonna suck not being able to wrestle Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and he left the ring. And Orton came out and basically greeted him on the apron of the ring and didn't say a word, didn't gesture at him, didn't walk toward nothing. And Owens got off the apron and walked to the back. It felt real to me. It felt very blunt, very to the point. It felt like Kevin Owens was being sincere and very kind of in shock about the whole thing. And then he went on a podcast this morning and pretty much confirmed everything. Um, I will point out, and I don't want it to be said that I'm making fun of an injury or I'm acting like it's non existent. That's not what this is. But I have seen things like this be a work. And like, remember when Mark Henry was giving the retirement speech
Oh yeah.
and he called John Cena out to the ring, and Mark Henry gave the one of the best retirement speeches ever. And then he turned around and he dropped John Cena and the whole thing was fake. I'm not saying that's what this is because I don't think it is. But there is something very, very ironic about Kevin Owens not being able to compete at WrestleMania because of a neck injury when he's been pile driving people for 6 months. It kind of makes you stop and go, really? Now? That's odd. I'm not gonna say it's fake because I don't think it is. It felt, like I said, it felt very real to me. But it's a little ironic. It's super disappointing, first of all, because I love Kevin Owens. Okay. I love the character he plays. I love the wrestler he is. I love the guy that he is. And I hope for his sake, there's a part of me that hopes it is a work and that he really doesn't have a neck injury, but it sounds to me like he does. And it sucks that we're going to miss out on that match. Um, but it's just a little ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, I noticed going through and reading different comments on Instagram, Facebook, social media, the whole nine. A lot of people had said that. A lot of people were saying, "Well, this is just storytelling. This is just the storyline."
Yeah.
You don't fake a neck injury
No.
because so many wrestlers have had neck injuries that have ended their careers or
Yeah.
shortened their careers. Edge had a neck injury, came back to wrestling, had to retire because it got to the point where he was losing feeling in his hands and his fingers. And
Yeah.
he's back wrestling now, which, I mean, modern medicine where it is today and
Right.
where it was 10, 15 years ago is definitely 10 times better. But you don't joke about that.
No.
Lita, she had a neck injury. She
Good
came
one.
back to wrestling. She fought Trish Stratus, landed on her neck again
Oh my God, that was
and
awful.
still wrestled and still
Yeah.
finished the match. Kurt Angle wrestled with a broken neck. Like
A
came back from
broken, a broken freaking
a
neck.
broken freaking neck. Look, I could tell the sincerity in what he was saying about his neck and that he was going to be out and how much it sucked that he didn't get to wrestle Randy Orton. I think a lot of guys want to wrestle Randy Orton because he's just damn good. And I
100%.
know that that sucks for KO because KO is just, I love the guy
Well,
too.
hell, how good
Like,
is, I mean, we're sitting here, Randy Orton, yeah, he's a Hall of Fame legend, no doubt about it. How good is freaking Kevin Owens?
the guy carried us through COVID too.
Yep.
He's one of the guys that carried us through COVID as well. So I'm hoping that I think a little part of me is hoping that it's fake. I know it's not. I think
Yeah,
it's just that hope in me because I want to see that match. I think it would be
me too.
phenomenal. But, you know, I hope that KO gets his neck fixed and he heals and he spends time with his family. And I hope
Yeah,
it's not a career-ending injury and he comes back and he dominates like he's been doing, doesn't miss a beat, and we get that match.
yeah.
You
Godspeed to
know?
KO. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it's real
Yeah.
because I really, really don't think that they would do a work about it. But then again, boy, we've seen some crap recently, haven't
Yeah.
we?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm gonna go based on the assumption that it is real. I mean, Godspeed to him, man. I hope he comes back stronger than ever, dude. I love KO. He's one of the best around. There's no doubt about it.
And then carrying on into our little recapping, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre is starting to heat up now,
Oh, is
and
it?
I watched a little bit of that segment, and Damian saying, Drew, you're responsible for your losses. This is no one else's fault. You're the addict with having to blame other people for your shortcomings. You're the one that lost these matches. It's not this person, this person, this person. Your obsession with this person is because you lost. That was a pretty great segment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jay Cargill and Naomi's heating up. So a lot of these storylines are starting to get to that climaxing part. It's gonna be great.
Boy, Naomi cut a really, really good heel promo.
Oh, last week I had saw that last
Yes.
week. That promo was
I'll tell you what. We
phenomenal.
didn't get to touch on that last episode. I just thought I would just very, very
Well, let's
briefly,
touch on it.
possible.
Let's go.
Just to touch on it, just to give mad props to Naomi. I mean, I remember talking with you in the first episode of the podcast about how Naomi's just not a heel. She's never been a heel, so it's kind of weird. But man, that was one of the best promos I've ever
I
seen.
think that heel turn's looking good on Naomi.
It was amazing. Like it really, really was. Shout out to Naomi, man. True veteran of the game. That was impressive.
And if you didn't watch that promo, you're living under a rock again, and I think you need to get out from under that rock
Gotta
and go
go
watch
watch
it.
that, dude.
It was really
And
good.
just to very, very quickly, because I know we need to move on, touch on McIntyre and Priest. We just haven't talked about them a great deal.
Yeah, yeah.
That is going to be a brute of a match, dude. That match very well could steal the show. I am so excited for that match. Like Priest dumping McIntyre on the windshield of a car. I mean, we don't see that.
And shout out to Punk for walking by, not paying,
Yeah,
just laughing like,
yeah. How
oh,
typical is that? You know that I mean that's just I think those two are gonna have a great match.
it's going to be a brutal match. It's going to be a bloodbath. They are going to beat the ever-loving hell out of one another. That storyline is definitely, like I said, it's reaching that climaxing part. Drew, shout out to Drew. That man has just been on a roll lately. He, by far, I have many favorite heels. He is one of my favorite heels. I mean, I've liked the guy since he was just a young, pretty boy coming into WWE because there was just something about him that just caught my attention wrestling. The guy is great.
Well, the guy looks the part, doesn't he?
Oh my
First of all,
gosh.
he just looks the part. I mean, he's cut out of granite for God's sake, okay? But he's a stud, dude. Like WWE completely missed the boat on that guy the first time around. Like completely. And then he goes to TNA and does the whole Drew Galloway thing and becomes that dark, changes the color of his hair, the whole, yeah, I mean, and becomes that Scottish just ugh, freak. And over the last 5 years, McIntyre's in the top five anybody of the last 5 years. Like, since if we do like a list from COVID to now, McIntyre's top five in the company. There's no doubt about it. He is a stud.
And he, honestly, I think he's one of those people that he really, I believe wholeheartedly that yes, it does suck with COVID. He had won a belt without an audience, and a lot of wrestlers want that moment with the audience, you know? I hope one day he actually wins a title and keeps it because the man is so deserving of one, and I'm sure he's right there and he's gonna get it. I can't wait for that day because again, the man deserves it
1,000,000% agree.
wholeheartedly,
1,000,000% agree.
you know?
And I do think, I mean, it's impossible to keep a title, some sort of championship, but a world championship. It's impossible to keep it off of Drew McIntyre for too long. He's just too damn good. He's too damn good on the mic. He's too damn good in the ring. He can fight anybody. He's a freak athlete, looks the part. It's impossible for him to not have another world title reign very soon.
I think it's gonna happen within the next year
It
because we
wouldn't
also
shock me.
have SummerSlam.
Yeah,
SummerSlam is the kickoff to the summer, but it's also where a lot of these storylines that lead into WrestleMania, they either close at WrestleMania or they continue on. And then SummerSlam, we see a lot of awesome things happen at SummerSlam. So
SummerSlam has always been my favorite pay per view because it, excuse me, not pay per view, premium live event.
yeah,
Because
showing your age there, friend.
a little bit, yeah. Uh, things change at SummerSlam. SummerSlam is the middle of the WWE calendar year. You've got April, May, June, July, August, September, where SummerSlam usually falls late August, early September, kind of. And then you've got the remainder of the year. That SummerSlam time frame is kind of the turning point of the year. That's where, like you said, you're going to see things change and new rivalries start, new bad blood. Some things are going to finish, some things are SummerSlam and WrestleMania have always been a toss. I mean, obviously WrestleMania is WrestleMania, but yeah, SummerSlam is that middle of the year pay-per-view where look out cuz something's going to happen.
Always. Always. And maybe one day we'll touch into our favorite pay-per-views on a beautiful segment of Rushmore.
Wait.
So, for many of you who do not know, and I explained this in the last episode, and again, if you did not watch it, you suck. Go
Make
back
up
and
for it,
watch it.
people.
Go back and watch episode 2, and then watch episode 1 if you're feeling a little oozy, want to watch some more yeet wrestling podcasting, go back and watch it. So, in the hint of the season that is WrestleMania, a lot of us love WrestleMania for the pageantry, for the storylines, for how long it is. When you were a kid growing up, you watched it on a Sunday night and you had to go to school the next morning, you were dragging butt.
Mm-hmm.
You knew who the wrestling fans were in school because
Ah,
all of you were sleeping in
that's right.
class.
That's right.
Right here, sleeping in class because I stayed up watching WrestleMania
I
late at night.
second that motion.
So, in the spirit of the season, we are touching on Mania entrances.
Mania entrance. Oh boy. Okay.
This is going to be a good one. Strap on your wrestling boots.
Mania entrance.
So, I chose, and it was hard for me, but I chose 5 wrestlers.
Five.
I chose 5.
That's illegal.
Illegal, but I chose 5 because
Okay.
these were just too good and they're in sequences because I am who I am. So first off, again, we talk about Triple H a lot on this show. He is one of our many favorite wrestlers. The man is just golden. He's amazing. And he has some damn good Mania entrances. And if you haven't seen any of his Mania entrances, I hope you go
My
back and
God, you're missing
watch.
out.
You're missing out. So my top four of his entrances, Mania 22, he came out to Motorhead, King of
Yeah.
Kings.
Hmm.
He came out onto a throne, crown on his head. I call this the Conan the Barbarian entrance. That
Hmm.
was a phenomenal entrance, but also a phenomenal match. Mania 27. I'm a Metallica fan. Absolutely love Metallica. I listen to it a lot. I hum Metallica sometimes when I'm working. I blast it. If I'm blasting it in the car, my husband will turn it down and I will say, "Sir, do you want to lose a finger?" So he knows not to touch my Metallica. WrestleMania 27, he came out to For Whom the Bell Tolls. That is one
Sure
of
did.
my favorite Metallica songs. That Mania was a pretty good Mania too.
27 was amazing.
27 was an amazing Mania, and if you have not watched any of the past WrestleManias, go into Peacock and go watch those.
That Triple H Undertaker match at 27 was. I mean, I know
Golden.
everybody talks about the Hell in a Cell match the
Hmm.
next year when Shawn with the end of an era, and that is top 3 or 4 all time. But that 27 match was just yeah,
Stay
yeah,
bon. And then Mania 30, we had the King of Kings entrance. He came out with his wife Stephanie McMahon, if I'm
I
memory
was
serves me
there.
right. Chris was there,
I
I
saw that
wasn't.
happen.
And WrestleMania 31 with the Terminator theme, that
Yeah.
was one of my favorite entrances. He wrestled Sting that year, and then we see
Mm.
the clash off between DX and NWO
Yeah.
finally happen. That Mania, honestly, not one of my favorite Manias, but that was one of my favorite parts of Mania was
Yeah,
Triple
for
H and
sure.
Sting. Um,
Sure.
Go back and watch that.
Sting got hurt in that match.
Mmm,
Legitimately got hurt in that match, like 6 or 7 minutes into the match. It's
really?
hurt. Yep.
I'll have to
And
go back and rewatch
well,
that.
that's part of the reason Triple H won.
Hmm.
Triple H was booked to win, but they had to end the match early because Sting got hurt very early on in the match. Just fun fact.
Dang, that sucks. Well, we were robbed
Sting's
of
a
it.
stud, though. Sting is the
Yeah.
man.
I love Sting. That was one of my favorite
Me
wrestlers
too.
growing up. I had the Sting wrestling buddies. I had Wolfpack Sting and regular Sting.
Mr. WCW. Anyway, go on.
And Bray Wyatt for Mania 30 entrance.
Mm.
So, for my people from Louisiana, you understand
Oh
why
my
this is
God.
one of my top favorites. Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, was
Oh my God.
amazing in the ring. That entrance right now, thinking about it, is giving me goosebumps. If you grew up in Louisiana, you understand the culture aspect behind it. It's very New Orleans, very voodoo, very just Cajun. He comes out to a band. The band is really awesome. I was listening to them and he's like, New Orleans, we're here. And he blows into a lantern. He comes
Man.
out with the Wyatt family. He wrestled John Cena that night. That was a phenomenal match. If you did not watch it, you should go back and watch it.
Completely stole the show. Again, I was there.
Yes. WrestleMania 30 honestly was
One of the best.
one of the best. I highly suggest people go back and watch it, but Bray Wyatt's Mania 30 entrance, oh,
Yeah, that was.
fabulous.
Oh my God.
And I'm sure seeing it in
I can't even. I can't even describe it. I will describe it, but yeah, go on.
all right. Undertaker, which I mean, it's the Undertaker. We're going to talk about him a lot in this show because this is another man that, myself and Chris both love very much. The man is just he is phenomenal. He is who he says he is inside and outside of the ring. He has never faltered from who he is. Mania 20, that was my I have many favorite WrestleManias, okay, guys? I can't just choose a favorite. WrestleMania 20 was an amazing event. He came out with Paul Bear and the Druids. He fought Kane in that match,
Yep.
which previous to Mania, as a child, you see this, you're traumatized and you're screaming, crying, going, "Oh my God, he killed the Undertaker!"
Hmm.
Kane buries the Undertaker alive. Undertaker encases Paul Bearer in concrete. Very
Yep.
traumatizing match. But the build up and lead up into WrestleMania 20 was amazing. WrestleMania 19, he came out with Kid Rock and the American Badass.
Yeah.
Another
Hmm.
one of my favorite manias. And then we have WrestleMania 27, Triple H and him. He comes out with Ain't No Grave by Johnny Cash. I
Gosh.
really enjoyed that entrance, mainly because I'm a Johnny Cash person. And anything Undertaker does, I'm all for it.
Hmm.
And then WrestleMania 30, we have 22 caskets lined up at the entrance, and he's coming out. And of course, Brock Lesnar's Lights on Fire. Undertaker did lose that match, but it is because he, and within 5 to 10 minutes, I believe, of that match, he got a head concussion. He has gone on record of talking about it. He does
He
not
doesn't
remember that
remember it.
match. So that is why Undertaker lost that match. Was Brock Lesnar, okay, well, this guy is
Yep.
injured. Let me finish this because this dude don't even know where the hell he is.
Right.
Another phenomenal match. I think people just need to go back and watch it. Just go back and watch WrestleMania 30.
It was pretty great,
It was a
dude.
great Mania. I That was my first Mania premium live event. What used to be pay-per-view that I bought with my own paychecks.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
um, the next one I chose Edge. Edge is one of my personal favorite wrestlers. He has been my entire life. I chose WrestleMania 39. He came out to the Brood entrance via
Yeah.
Flames and Slayer. I
Good
thought that
one.
was badass.
It's a good one.
And he wrestled the demon Finn Balor.
And Balor. Yep.
I love Finn Balor. I think that the demon aspect of Finn Balor is amazing. And then the next one, Mania 34, Seth Rollins comes out as the Kingslayer in a Game of Thrones theme.
Hmm.
Um, I absolutely love Game of Thrones. That is one of my all-time favorite shows. We watch House of the Dragon in this home, and that was part of my wedding entrance, so of course I had to choose this one. So, that's it for that part of Rushmore. Do you have favorites?
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, um, WrestleMania 30 is, I will say this. To me, the greatest WrestleMania of all time is WrestleMania 17. Okay. WrestleMania 17, Houston Astrodome, 70,000 people, Austin and Rock, Triple H and Undertaker, TLC 2 between the Dudleys, Edge and Christian and the Hardys, Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon in a street fight. All on the same card. Okay. It was a complete joke. Okay. That was the night that Austin shook Vince McMahon's hand and quote unquote turned heel. To me, it's the greatest WrestleMania of all time. But there were no, I mean, Triple H and The Undertaker both had cool entrances that night. But if we're going on entrances alone,
Hard one.
WrestleMania 30 is again, I was there, so it was The Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania 30, and this is because I was there, but I I cried. And I am not a crier. I don't cry easy. That was I don't even have the words to describe it to you. I wish I did. I don't. Bone chilling, numbing. I told you on the first episode, everybody was standing up. Okay, I had like I was squeezing Maddie's hand like I can't even believe it. And the crazy part is I had seen The Undertaker live multiple times. This was WrestleMania. This was different. So naturally that would be one of them. Bray Wyatt's entrance, as you mentioned, having been there, it was incredible. The Superdome in New Orleans holds it's like capacity 72,000 people. When I tell you there were 72,000 flashlights on phones, like looking around the Superdome, having been to multiple Saints games, okay, looking around and seeing a pitch black Superdome with 70,000 flashlights on phones and Bray coming on the Tron in New Orleans. Yeah, that old accent.
Hmm.
We're here. I, dude, it was amazing. It was amazing. Triple H's entrance was good that night. If I'm gonna put a Triple H entrance, ooh, if I'm gonna put a Triple H entrance on there, it's the WrestleMania 22 entrance, the Motorhead one, just because it's iconic. Like Motorhead sung all of his theme songs except the very very first one with Stephanie, My Time, whatever it was called. But the game and the King of Kings and Evolution, and it was seeing Lemmy up there. That was pretty cool. If I'm gonna put a Triple H entrance on there, it's that one. I cannot do. You talk about WrestleMania entrances. Number one, number one is Shawn Michaels in the rafters.
Oh yeah.
Number one, like it's not even a discussion. Shawn Michaels coming down from the rafters to wrestle Bret Hart in an hour-long Iron Man match. That is number one, and it's not particularly close. I would have Taker's entrance at WrestleMania 30, although I could put his entrance at WrestleMania, oh boy, find the number, 15. It's whichever one he comes out as, like where he's got the big spiky thing on his back and he's in between the torches and the big old I can't even describe it. His hair was wet and it was down this way, and he's got the outfit he's wearing is not just the cloak. It was kind of in a little bit before the Ministry days, but he's got this big old thing that he's wearing on his back. It was just, oh, that one. Shawn Michaels, Hogan, coming out. I know we're not huge on Hogan, but Hogan coming out with the American flag at WrestleMania 1 with Mr. T. Like,
That was pretty iconic.
dude, what? God, I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm forgetting. Cena. Cena driving the car
That
when they
was,
were in LA. That was 22, wasn't it? 22, where Cena drives the Mustang and he bursts through the
I
glass.
think that was at Ford
Yeah,
Field,
Ford
I
Field.
think,
Yeah, Detroit.
yeah,
Yeah,
Detroit.
Ford. He freaking drives the Mustang around, drives it through the parking garage, and
Through the
boom,
glass.
glass. I mean that was cool.
You also have the line of Cena's, and
Yeah,
then Chicago, Illinois, he came out to a bunch of gangsters, which, by the way,
yeah.
little tidbit, there's a wrestler who dressed up as a gangster. His name is
CM
CM
Punk.
Punk.
Yep,
Before he got signed on, go back and
true,
watch that.
true.
Oh man.
Sean Sean coming down from the rafter. You could throw multiple, and in fact, I will throw multiple Sean timeout. Number one is Sean coming down from the rafters. Number two would be, for me, Taker at WrestleMania 30. Number three, oh boy. Number three would be Triple H with Motorhead. And controversial, but I'm going to throw Cody Rhodes' return entrance on there. Cody coming back to the WWE, coming up from the stage. Everybody knew it was coming, but he still got the pop. But I would go back and forth between that one, and I'll throw the other Shawn Michaels entrance on there, the one that sticks out to me, which is WrestleMania. Oh, shoot. It's 26, I believe, when he comes out as like an angel.
Oh, and he comes down
Brett
from the
comes down and he's doing this like the Undertaker did, but he's dressed in all white with the hat and the exact opposite of the Undertaker, where Taker was all black and dark and very
and Taker comes out
evil, and
from the
Taker
bottom.
comes up from here. Sean comes down from the heavens. And like that, the story behind that entrance, that would be my fault. Sean would have two, but that shocking. It's Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and Triple H. Shocking, I know. But to me, those are the three best performers in the history of WrestleMania. Are Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and The Undertaker. So maybe it's not so shocking, but that would be my Rushmore. That's a good one. WrestleMania entrances. That's a good. I wasn't expecting that. That's a good one.
Thank you. It took me some thinking, some cognitive reforce. It was hard because there's so many, and with every WrestleMania, there's just amazing WrestleMania moments, and I feel like a lot of it bounces off to that entrance and how, to me, I feel like that entrance is how that night is gonna go.
Yeah,
You
sure.
come out to an amazing entrance, it's gonna be an amazing match. Come out, just whatever, not so much. I mean, it's just an opinion,
Yeah, no, for
you
sure.
know.
That's valid, dude. Like, and I tell you who else who had. Gosh, see, now you got me started. I love when we do this stuff, but I go on and on because things pop into my head as we were talking about WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan.
Oh my God,
That
yeah.
that Christina, that was as loud, and it was the second one because remember WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan had two matches. He had the first match of the night where he beat Triple H and Batista in the triple threat match to get into the main event to face Randy Orton for the title. After that was loud. That was loud. But after he won the match, and we knew we were going to see him again, but we kind of knew if he wins the first one, and we knew he was going to win, but he wins the first one, he's definitely going to win the second one. And so we knew what was coming. And so the second entrance, oh my God, that was as loud as I may have ever heard the Superdome. It was unbelievable. Anyway,
Well, correction. He fought Triple H first and then went into the triple threat match between Randy Orton and
there you go.
Taker.
That's right.
Yep. He had to
That's right.
fight Triple H in order to win.
Yeah.
In order to win the belt, he had to fight Triple H and win that match in order
Right.
to go into the triple threat match, which, I mean, it was a phenomenal match. Both of
Oh,
them
yeah.
were amazing, but that was a great entrance too. He had
Dude.
a great entrance and a great pop. I really loved Daniel Bryan when he was with WWE. Now I think he's retired now. He was with
He is.
AEW, which,
Mhm.
shout out to him. Now he gets to enjoy his time with his wife and his babies.
Yep. He was the ultimate underdog story. I mean, that was cool to have been there to see that. That was really cool.
Which, if you have a favorite WrestleMania entrance, please put it in the comments. And I stress this, and I'm getting loud. Comment, like, subscribe, share to everybody. Because I know you people are not watching, and I know you people are not listening. So, share, like, comment, subscribe, or someone gets a chair.
To the face.
Maybe not to the face, because, that might break your face, but, a chair somewhere. Maybe in your lawn. I'll just take the chair and throw it.
We'll, we'll get Seth Rollins to hit him in the back.
Yeah,
He's good at
a
that.
heel turn by
There you go.
Seth Rollins. Again, thank you so much for joining in on this afternoon to another episode of Chair to Face Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Chrissy and Chris. Yeah, so like, subscribe, comment, share, listen on YouTube and Spotify
Two
for all
weeks,
your
guys. 2 weeks.
podcasting and to be caught up for the next 2 weeks because it is going to be awesome. So, everybody have a great night. Don't forget to watch and listen. Bye, everybody.